Okay, so now Cleveland. We've discussed what your strengths, your weaknesses are. You've got a problem, and now you need to fix it. And what would a Moneyball hitting coach do to fix this problem? You only have 2 star hitters, you have 1 good chip-in role player, and then you have 8 other guys who've been trying to just get into the role player status. They can't even quite make that. The hitting coaches tried to help those guys out. A lot of them have gotten worse, if anything, or they just can't get over 250 and 5 home runs. So what would a Moneyball hitter coach do to fix this problem? Exactly what we're showing you right now. We go into the general manager's office, or the manager or the owner, whoever wants the change, and we say, this is what you got. You got a couple of star hitters. If you want to win a championship, you need at least 4, and then you need some role players to chip in. You only have 2 star hitters, 1 role player, and the rest of them we would consider weak hitters. So we want to bring the weak hitters, what we call the 250 club, up to the 280 club at least, with 15 bombs. Okay? And our ratio on being able to do that, based on our knowledge of hitting and our experience and our methods that we use, is that we are successful 90% of the time. So you can see that the players are kind of running over to the 280 15 plus mark. That's going to put your team at a championship level hitting team, where they could bust through the playoffs and bust through the World Series. And your pitching staff could take care of the rest. So it's that simple, and that's basically how the Moneyball system works. Now, you might be thinking, how many star players are you going to get out of that? Well, out of those 8, and we may be working with more, I'm just putting the 8 up there that didn't hit this year. Out of the 8, a couple of those guys are going to hit 280 with 20 plus home runs, which put them in the star status, at least a couple. So you might have 4 or 5, maybe even 6 star hitters with your role players. And then you may have a couple of guys that even the Moneyball hitting formula can't get out because they're too old. Maybe they're veterans. They don't want to listen. They've got life problems or something like that. They've got mental problems. You never know. The human condition, okay, goes. Which is what, a lot of the hitting instructors, they blame all their faults on the human condition. We don't. We know that we're not 100% perfect, but we know that the methods help hitters 90% of the time. Okay? Which is 80% better than what the so-called professional hitting coaches are doing right now. All right? So Cleveland Indians, this is what the Moneyball system would do. We would plug you in to be a Moneyball hitting team by plugging you in the Moneyball training formula that we know that works. And we would create your team to score more runs, more slugging percentage, and you would fit right in with what we call a championship hitting team. And nobody's really seen the likes of this, by the way. So if you think this is kind of crazy, or if, people have called me crazy before, but you think, how does somebody like this think, or how can this guy even make this up? Is this guy crazy or something like that? No, I'm not crazy. And either is Moneyball Hitter Magazine or the writers that I find, and I have a tough time finding them because there's not a lot of them out there. Okay? However, I am so sure about this that if some owner, let's say the owner of the Cleveland Indians, said, boy, this sounds very interesting, and I think it's worth a shot. But I hardly even know you, and so I don't think it's going to work out, because we don't want to pay somebody that we hardly even know, that doesn't have a reputation or is not in this so-called network. So then I come back with, well, then pay me on bonuses. I'll do it for free. And every guy that gets better, that performs within our goals, you pay me, and for each and every guy that we get to hit at the championship level. All right. And sometimes I get the blank stare, and they're scared to all get out. All right. So